Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm doing something a little bit different. Today I'm going to be talking to somebody who's super special to me. And we are going to be talking about dealing with grief and therapy, which is quite an interesting topic. So my thing is that it's a festive season and we can easily be reminded of the people that we no longer have in our lives. And I think Ntabi and myself, wow, I did not introduce you.
You did not introduce me.
I did not introduce
Some people don't know me.
Guys, this is Ntabi saying Mpolo Ali, who's a very good friend of mine. So now that the introduction is out of the way, we can actually get into what we want to talk about. So the reason why I actually brought you to chat to me today, because as your friend and practically family, I have seen
baby sister. As my baby sister.
She's not coming back on my channel ever again.
I'll be here every time.
I've seen you go through quite a lot of things that I think a normal person wouldn't come out of. Like there were times where even we were scared that we don't know how you're gonna get out. And you've been through therapy, you've been through a lot of things, and I just want to open up that conversation for you to kind of share the experience. So I don't know if you just want to start by giving a brief of what had been happening for the past few years to like where we are now briefly, then we'll kind of get into the conversation entirely.
Not a problem. So I don't have my mic with me, so I'd be singing I'm a survivor. But you know what? That's fine. Next time I'll sing for y'all.
A survivor
song.
You
know.
Yay.
But, okay. So with regards to what you're talking about right now in terms of grief and all that, it hasn't been easy, and losing my dad. The year later, losing my brother, and then last year, losing a friend of mine, and having to deal with that. Like now you have to put yourself in the shoes of those people who have been going through things. Because sometimes when somebody's going through something, you'll be like, hi man, you'll get over it.
Right.
You'll be fine. Do you understand? And then when it happens to you, that's when you're thinking, shit is real. Sorry for the S word, but you know when it happens to you, that's when you're like, like this is like really happening. And another friend of mine once told me that never ever once think that something can never happen to you, because of you can relate to what I'm going through, but indirectly and say, oh, I feel sorry for her and what's not. But don't ever think that you will never go through that. Never in my life did I think that my dad would leave me.
Right.
My dad and I were like this. Just like you and you understand?
Yeah.
So never had I ever thought of him leaving me. And my friend and I were super close.
Yeah.
But when I got the news, Michelle, it was devastating.
Yeah. So this is I think for people that don't know, this is the what's a clumsy accident.
That
happened where Ntabi Singh lost one of her best friends.
Yes.
Technically. What was the bottom point? Because I know that Velamina's death wasn't just you losing her, but it opened up wounds of a lot of things. But I want you to just take me through that trail of thought.
So basically, I wouldn't really put it as opening up wounds, but it made me become isolated.
Sure.
In a way whereby I was like, you know what? She left me. I don't want to have any more friends.
Right.
I don't want to be close to anyone ever again, because I built this relationship with you as my friend and we are this close, and then next thing I get a phone call and we are gone. Like, you know what? It's not the fact that you left that hurts me the most. What hurts me the most is the fact that I'll never get to see you again. Do you understand? That's what it did, because I thought, this cannot be happening. Like, what do you mean? And it made me pull away from a lot of my friends. I remember, you know Dumi, right?
Yeah.
I remember Dumi and I once had like a proper girl fight, like not bush,
Right.
but you know, because she's also my best friend, and she was like, why are you pushing me away? I want to be there for you. I know that you've lost your friend. I want to support you as far as this is concerned and everything. And you're not letting me in. You're shutting me out. What's going on? And I'm like, yay, you don't know what I'm going through. Leave me alone. Next thing I know, I open up to you, and then you're also going to leave me, and you die on me. So, you know, it's a bit selfish, but you don't think about that when
at that time. Sure.
And hence, therapy is very important as far as it comes to it, because had it not been for me seeing psychologists and psychiatrists, I do not think I would have made it out alive. I was I was at the edge.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
Too much.
And therapy is definitely something I want to chat to us more. So tell me about your first session in therapy. The first day. First of all, who convinced you to go to therapy?
Okay, so I'm just gonna backdate it all the way back to when my dad passed away. Now, after Daddy had died, I acted normal because I wanted people to think Kore. Saying is strong. You understand? Saying
we were going to school together and you were normal.
And I was okay. But deep down I wasn't. But do you understand? I convinced myself and everybody else around me that I was fine. Up until 2 years later, when now, because my siblings were literally taking care of me, and I had expectations. Like, I wanted them to be my father. Do you understand?
Right.
Like, if Daddy buys you Christmas clothes, and you don't understand that people have priorities, people have lives and what's not. And if they can't do it at that certain time, when I go to bed at night, I'm like, but if Daddy was here, everything would be sorted. You understand? And I was approaching varsity. It was very stressful because I'm like, how am I gonna do this? I wanted to go to Monash so damn bad. You know how much I wanted to go to Monash. Do you understand? Like, and I was like, but you know, if Daddy was here, because he valued education so much, for him it was going to be Tapshe, sit me down and then just ask me, what do you want to do, my girl? And then I go to school. Because most of the times I still blame him. I still say to him, you see, when man, if it wasn't for you, like, I wouldn't be going through what I'm going through right now.
Do you think people choose to die? Do you think they make a decision to leave?
Look, I don't think so. But at that point, remember when somebody dies, man, you're looking for someone to blame.
Right.
If you're not going to blame that person who died, you're going to blame the next person. And hence you find in families, sometimes you'd find maybe, let's say, they would be like, yo, Rakadi did this and this to this person. Yo, do you understand?
It's
because it's part of the grieving process. Like, I've learned to live with it. I've learned to understand that that's how it is. People always look for someone to blame. They don't want it to just be something that had happened. Like, no, it happened. Do you understand?
There must be a reason why.
Yeah, like somebody is behind that. If it's not a person that you're blaming, you're blaming God.
Yes. Or yourself.
Or yourself. Well. Exactly. It gets to that point. So now in this case, in my father's case, I blamed him a lot. Like a lot. And when my family realized that, no man, there was something wrong with Ntabi saying, they decided it was my family together with teaming up with my LO teacher. Big ups to Member Lloyd. Yeah, well, and my friends as well, Dumi and Nolufefe, they're the ones who brought this to my teacher's attention. Because what had happened is that the previous night, and over the most silliest thing, I tell you, I spoke to my brother who is financially responsible for me, and I asked him, I told him that I wanted school shoes, and he said that okay, it's fine, I'll buy you month end. No.
Right.
But never month end. Do you understand?
Right.
So I needed school shoes, and he said, no, I'll buy you month end. And then month end comes, and I'm like, hey dude, my school shoes. But like, in terms of saying, I don't have money now. When I have money, I'll buy you your school shoes. Don't worry, relax. And then when the moment he said that, something came to me and said, and I promise you, that is the devil. Devil spoke to me. Like, that was, something came to me and said to me, Ntabi, saying, you clearly you are a burden to this person. As much as he's doing 1, 2, 3 for you, it doesn't, if he could do it, he would have done it at the moment you wanted it.
Right.
But not that he doesn't want to do it. He does want to do it, but he cannot. So you're a burden. And then I don't know what said to me. Open the drawer. Then I found tablets.
Sure.
Yeah, I found pills, and then I took them all. I don't know what pills they were. I just took those pills, and then I slept. And then I woke up in the morning. And then my cousin was talking, and then I was like, I'll tell you, this is very funny. I was like, God, is that you? Because at the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm dead. Like, are you serious? I promise you. Like, it's a male cousin. So there's a bass at the background. Like, and I'm thinking I'm dead. Like, I don't know how it feels like to die.
So like, I've arrived.
Like, so I'm like, I'm in heaven. So I'm like, God, is that you? And then I'm like, okay, so heaven looks like my room. All right. And then I'm like, gosh, okay, I'm feeling dizzy. I'm not feeling okay. And that's when I decided to go to the clinic to get more medication, because I realized that no, man,
didn't work. So you wanted to do it again?
Yes. The whole point was to just do it again. Sure. And because I'm this open person, what I did is immediately, I called in sick at school, and then I told my friend, I said to her, yo, last night, but I said it like jokingly because I thought she was gonna go like, ha ha ha, ay marawe. Do you understand? You are crazy. Do you understand? I said to her, yo, Dumi, last night I took an overdose of pills and I'm feeling dizzy right now. And I said, anyway, I'm going to the clinic. I've got period pains. Big lie. And then I went to the clinic. As I was at the clinic, I see 2 people wearing school uniform.
So what were you gonna go get at the clinic? Just any pills?
Look, the thing is, you know what? No, get period pain. Because thing is, I cannot knowledge and experience about committing suicide. Do you understand? I just hear people saying, oh, this person took an overdose of pills, but I don't know which pills are effective, which ones are not. Like, do you understand? Sure. So I'm thinking, even if it's Panado, like, if it has to kill me, it will kill me.
Yeah.
Do you understand? It will just end that pain. So I went, and then I saw them, and then they were like, I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Like, no, you have to come to the house. Immediately I thought, oh, someone else died. And then I finished with my consultations. I got my medications and all that. And then when I got home, got my family there, my teachers are there, and my sister is crying, and it confirms it. No, somebody died.
Someone else now.
I'm like, God. Who died now? Like, how did this happen? Do you understand? And then they like sit down, and they like, we know you're going through some things. And then I started being emotional, because the moment they said, we know you're going through some things, automatically just went back to, oh shit. Now this girl Dan went and told my teacher that I didn't understand. But she was acting out of concern. And
absolutely.
She probably saved my life.
And can we also just thank God that at that time wasn't technology peak time, because you could have Googled what medication.
Do you understand? Exactly. It could have been that. So they were like, we've been talking, and then we're thinking that maybe you should go for counseling, because they were there, like they were just seated there, and they were like, they want to talk to me. And if you don't want to talk, you're not going to talk. So all I was just doing is crying and saying, leave me alone.
You didn't say a word.
I didn't say a word. I just said, leave me alone. I don't want to talk about it. And then, but Bona, they had assumed, it was shortly after Valentine's Day. So they had assumed that because I was new into this dating industry and all that, it had to do with
a guy.
Okay. So they were like, no, it's fine. But because remember, Membalo always had knowledge around these things. So if you don't want to talk, she knows the right channels to go about. So she was like, okay, no, she doesn't want to talk, it's fine. She knows that we know, so this is what we're going to do. Let's arrange counseling for her. And then my sister's like, personally, I'll take her. And at that time, I'm still I'm still holding the medication that I got in my hand, that I got from the clinic. Yeah. And then my sister-in-law is like, bring the medication. I'm like, but I have pains. Like it's fine. We'll monitor you. We'll give you one tablet if you're going through something. We're not saying that if you don't have, it's just that you need to understand that if you take yourself away from us, we're not going to be okay. And it is then when I realized that, you know what, that was the most stupid thing that I ever wanted to do, and very selfish in a way whereby, I mean, imagine, I didn't think the impact. I thought I was going to make everybody's life easy. Yeah. But they were crying and I was still in the room. Do you get that? They were not okay. So
imagine what they would have felt.
So I just thought,
gone.
It just. And then I decided, you know what? I'm canceling this suicide thing out of me, even though time and again the devil kept on coming to me and saying, hey, you failed the first time, you can still do it again. I mean, I've thought of, when you're in the bathroom and you look at Hindi and Domestos and it says that you shouldn't drink it, and I'm like, there's a reason why it says this. I've had suicidal thoughts, like a lot. I've thought of about it. But every single time when I thought about it, I would go back to that day when I saw my sister crying, and I was like, hey, no, you know what? It's probably going to bring pain. They probably went through a lot when Daddy died as well, and now they're going to have to lose me again. Do you understand? It's not going to be easy on them as well.
Sure.
They're not going to live with it. They're not going to be able to live with it. So I went through therapy, and then I spoke about it, and you might be hearing this for the first time, but it's fine. I've decided that I can talk about it. Like, it's okay. Through therapy, I opened up, because like the therapists, they don't know, they don't experience what you're going through. Somebody comes and says, I was still a minor. So they just come and say, this person did this because of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Do you understand? So now I'm in that room with that guy. Now I start talking. I start venting things out, like, because I'm angry. I'm mad at my family for bringing me to this guy, and I'm like, I'm gonna tell them exactly where to get off. Do you understand? Sure. But that's the whole point of therapy. That's what they want. They want you to just lash everything out. Take it out. Like, take it out on them as much as you can. So I was like, I'm gonna, plus adolescent. Man. Do you understand? So I spoke to the guy. It was a male therapist. First session, I wasn't really comfortable, because it was the first time talking to someone other than just a general practitioner. Do you understand? So it was a bit awkward, and I wasn't really comfortable talking to a male guy. And then...
Yes, why were you not comfortable talking to a man?
I thought the process would be, if I had to choose, then I could choose, then I could say, can I have a female? Okay. And of which you can.
Yes.
You
can choose.
Yeah, you can say, no, I'm not comfortable with speaking to a male.
Right.
Can I rather speak to a female? But at that time, I was still young. I did not know that I could choose, because look, the whole point is for you to be as comfortable as possible. And if you are not comfortable speaking to a man, a female, do you understand? Any type, like you can choose whichever one that you want to speak to. So I spoke to him because I thought this was the only way out. My sister's there in the other room waiting for me, and then I have to go through. And he assured me, look, everything that we talk about here, it's just going to be me and you. Nobody else is going to know about this. Do you understand? So the moment he said that, and he gave me that assurity, that the first session I just told him about my dad, and then he didn't say anything to my sister, and I'm like, hi man, this guy, I can trust him. Do you understand? And then when we went to the second session, then I started opening up about my childhood, how I grew up, how come I was so close to my dad other than any other guy, and the fact that I was molested as a child for 2 straight years, between the ages of 5 and 6. Like every single time I think about it, it just it hits home. Like it's very painful. By a close family member, it happened. And by the time I realized that this was something that wasn't supposed to happen, it was about maybe 3-4 years later, when they teach you at school to say, when a person touches you here, you must say no. When a person touches you here, you must say. Do you understand? And then I'm like, hi man, back then, this person did this and that to me. And
I mean, that is so big, because that says a lot about the importance of sex education to young children.
Like it does, because you know what, they taught us about this in grade 3, and then to think that these things, they happened to me while I was in preschool. Teach your kids when they're still young. I didn't know. To me, it was okay. Like he would literally, he was comfortable. He would literally call me and say, let's go to the shop, and we'd go to the shop, and he would just do whatever it is that he wants to do. Do you understand? It is, I know, it is. He was just, and he just said to me, it wasn't one of those, I'm buying you food to keep quiet. No, he just said to me, you're a good girl, don't tell anyone about this, all those kind of things. And I was like, I have to be a good girl. I cannot let anyone know. If I tell people, then I'm not a good girl. You understand? And then so that prolonged my therapy session, because now my psychologist thought it was just daddy. We were dealing with daddy and grieving with daddy, and then now I'm telling him, hey my guy, someone else did the things to me.
Sure, I'm so sorry about that.
Look, it happens to the most of us. It's fine.
Sure.
So it happened, and I kept on speaking to him, and then I realized that the more I spoke about this, the easier I felt.
Okay.
And the more comfortable I felt. Do you understand that? Yes. So it got to a point where he asked me, why don't you tell your family? And then I said to him, who's going to believe me? Because as a child, when I realized that was wrong, what the man was doing, I was like, it's too late. Nobody's going to believe me now.
And a lot of women suffer in silence.
Yeah, they do. They do, because in the education that we had in school, they were like, no, because you can go to doctors, they test you, and then they do this. And I'm like, back then, like I was very smart. Like I was a smart grade 3 child. Do you understand? That's when I got educated. I was like, no man, this person did this to me back then. So, but I was like, no man. But even still, it's not gonna add up, because now, what test are they going to do for something that happened 3 years back? And I was like, yo, my family is going to hate me. First, I tried to kill myself. And now I come and say, yeah, Usman Bani did this and that to me. Do you understand? So I decided, I told them that it's fine. I don't want to speak to them.
Did you eventually tell them?
Only last year I told my one sister. And it's gonna be a shock to most of my family members. And I sincerely apologize, but look, it's not an easy thing to do, especially if you leave it, like if you leave it for that long, it's not easy. But if you talk about it right then and there, then it's easy for you to just go through it. Do you understand?
So last year you go through one of the most terrible times ever. I remember visiting you in hospital and I was crying because that's the worst I had seen. You were in such a state. And I can't believe that it's the same person I'm sitting in front of right now. And you've demonstrated a lot of strength with everything that you, personally, because I know everything in detail.
Yeah.
You know, I want you to take me through the recent therapy that you've been taking, that you've taken recently, and how that has helped you. I think the first thing is coming into now, and because I feel like you're rediscovering yourself. Like this Ntabi saying right now is not the Ntabi I knew years ago. These
completely different,
two worlds apart. But this Ntabi saying right now, what has she learned from just rediscovering herself?
Well, honestly, I think I took my knowledge from the first therapy sessions that I've had.
You did,
no? And when Velemina passed away, like as I said, it was the most devastating thing ever. And still, I think it was within my nature to say, I'm used to people leaving me. And then I tried, like, Mish, I was like, it's fine, I'm okay. But people kept on seeing that Ntabiseng is not doing okay. At work, I come to work, like I will do my job the way I'm supposed to do it, like perfectly so, I promise you. But I'm this bubbly person, you know me. Yeah. Do you understand?
It's hard to figure out.
I just go to work, I sit down, I work, and then I go home. I don't speak to anyone. I'm not that person. And then my manager called me, and he said to me, look, I'm worried. Your colleagues are worried. Your colleagues came to me and they said that you're no longer the same person that you are. And this has nothing to do with your job performance. Trust me, you are performing extremely well. But however, like the social part of you is no longer there. Like that Ntabiseng who likes making noise, who likes talking, you're no longer that same person. Like we're no longer feeling your energy anymore. And we figured out that this is because of your friend's passing. And he said to me, look, as a company, this is what we can do for you. Big ups to Teleshow.
And I think it's also important for people to realize that your companies can actually help you.
Yeah, companies, they can. They are able to do so. So he came to me and then he said to me, as a company, this is what we can do to you. We can do for you. And us doing this, we're not doing this. If we're only going to do this for you, only if you want to do it. If you don't want to, it's fine. You can continue being the way you are. Do you understand?
Sure. You had to make the choice.
He said the ball is entirely in your court, but he just said to me that I just want you to know that we care deeply about you and we all want you to be okay. And it broke me again because it took me back to that time when I came in and then my family was crying and they were like, help. So I was like,
I'm here again.
Yeah. And I immediately said, yes, I do need help. I'm not okay. And then he just organized some sessions for me, and then with the counselors that are at work and what's not. So those therapists were like, hey, no, this is just too big for us. Now you need to see a psychiatrist, because now I'm talking everything from the sexual harassment to losing daddy, losing my brother, losing my sister. Like, do you understand? Now, like, everything is just piling up now. Like, because I've got that experience, so now I'm talking, I'm free, and I talk. You know, it was because I had experience of counseling. I could say that can I rather speak to a female person?
Okay, now you know what to do.
Exactly. Now I know what to do. I know what to say. And then they gave me that female person. And then I spoke to her, and then first time around said think you must see a psychiatrist. I didn't take it serious. I was like, okay, sure. And then counseling sessions were depleted and what's not, but still nothing was happening. Do you understand? And then again, I had to see another psychologist, and the psychologist recommended the very same thing, to say this thing is just too big. You need a psychiatrist. And at the back of my head, I was like, what? I'm not crazy. You see a psychiatrist? Like,
normal.
Do you understand? And then the other time, when I was, because they would prescribe medication for you and then just take it. And so I took it.
It's antidepressants.
Yeah, and then I took it to my GP, and then I told my GP, look, this is what's happening. And then my GP, she's also a lady, and she was a very nice lady. Big ups to Rediscovering Medical Center. I'm just gonna keep on saying big ups, like, you know.
Oh god.
So she said to me, it's okay. Look, if you're taking antidepressants and you've had people saying that you must see a psychiatrist, maybe then you need to see a psychiatrist. And then she organized a referral letter for me, and then that's how I went about getting admitted to hospital. And then I went to hospital, and my hospital experience was a wow experience, honestly speaking.
Sure. In what sense?
In a sense whereby I never want to see myself in hospital due to depression. Like, I don't want to. Ne? And mind you, I'm saying this, ne? When I got to hospital, big ups to Temba Hospital. When I got to hospital, the ward for mentally disturbed people was full, but they were willing to take me in because they understood that I had a problem. Do you understand? But that unit was full, and then they said, you know what, it's fine, you can still go through your sessions and what's not, we'll admit you, but then we're going to put you with the physically sick people. Okay. Then I said, that's fine. Cool, yo. And I'm glad they did, because when I was going to my sessions that side in that unit, you see people crying, people shouting, like you get depressed yourself. And I was like, I wasn't going to be able to just come out of that alive. So I think it was God just saying, no, you're not going to survive this. Like, rather you be, because I mean, people who are, you get someone who was just in an accident. So why are you here? I know I got an accident and what's not, and then just you laugh about it. Yeah. But now that person, that one who's in that ward, hey,
been through a lot.
They've been through a lot. Do you understand? At night they don't sleep. That's what they were saying, that they can't sleep at night because the next person is crying. Like, people are going through the most out there.
Yeah.
So I was very grateful to be in that ward. To a point whereby even in the unit, the for mentally disturbed people, when the other people were being discharged, my doctor told me that, no, there's beds, you can come this side. And I was like, I'm okay, that's alright. Like, it's fine.
Does that serve as like a point of motivation now when you think about your mental state?
Yes.
And you realize that that's not where you want to go?
Yes, it does. It does big time. Big time it does. You know what? Because look, as far as it goes, like I can tell you one thing. With what my personal opinions about a psychologist, and I could be wrong. I was seeing a psychologist, an occupational therapist, a psychiatrist, and these people, I don't know this other profession, but another specialist that had to do with, and a counselor. 5 people in a day. So, but now I realize that these people, every day, they ask you the same questions. And they all ask the same questions and just draw up their reports. That's what they do. How are you feeling? So when you feel like this, what do you want to do? Have you tried to do this and that? Do you think of this? Look, it got boring. It got boring to a point whereby when I was discharged from hospital, I told the doctor that admitted me that if you don't discharge me, I'm going to leave. Like I'm going to run away. And you'll explain to my family where I am. Because I didn't want to be there anymore. I was like, I'm doing the same thing over and over. Yes, it did help in a way, but can we talk about something else? Do you understand? And that's when doctors, they didn't want to let me go, but I was like, I want to go. I really wanted to leave so bad. And finally they let me go. They discharged me. And then when they discharged me, when I went home, I thought about the process that I've been going through with regards to psychology. So when I thought about this process, I thought about, no man, it's easier to talk to someone who relates or who's been through what you've been through. You understand? And then I don't know if it was my idea or if it was someone else's idea about a support group. And then I thought about support groups. And then I googled support groups. I was like, if you go to a support group, obviously, I go to a support group and I go and I say, hey guys, I have TB. It's a support group for TB. Do you understand?
TB, right.
So these people, and I'm like, hey, when I cough at night, my chest is painful. The next person can come and say to you, when you do that, just boil hot water and you'll be fine. Do you understand? It's not someone who's just going to say, oh, so you have TB. Is it painful? Is it... Look,
I'm with you.
It's irritating. Like, especially if you're having a mental problem. Like, at some point you just tell people, you stop talking to me. That's what you do when you like one-on-one with a psychologist. You tell them, look, can you just stop it, because this is not going anywhere.
Sure.
You end up saying all those things. So I googled about a few support groups, but I never really followed up on those. And I would still like to go to a support group, because look, as much as I'm okay now, I'm not 100%. And I want to get there, even if I don't get to 100%. Like 18 like.
But you're doing so much better.
Oh, I'm doing way better.
You feel better.
I feel a lot better.
So for the context of people that are watching, and I think I'll ask you this as a direct question, what can people around you do to assist you more in your journey? And because I think we all know, other friends that are going through quite a lot. But what can people close to them do to help them out? Or to support?
Look, people are different in every way, and people have different ways to deal with different things. I remember today is the 21st. So 3 days ago, it was Velemina's birthday. And then a week before that, I was just posting her pictures. And then my sister sent me a message to say that I realized that this is probably the most important time in your life. And if you want me to be there, being that I stay alone, if you want me to be there for you, I can come over and be there with you. You understand? And I was like, no, I'm okay. I'm fine. You understand? But it depends. As an individual person who goes through this, do you have someone you can talk to?
Sure.
Do you understand? If not, then yes, you can go for. I am not saying that therapy doesn't help. Therapy helps. Because therapy got me to where I am.
Right. I'm with you.
And it got me to realize the things that I've realized. Okay. But the most important thing, more than therapy, is talking to someone who is close to you. And the scariest part about talking to someone close to you is having your laundries in the street. You understand?
Yeah.
So, but with my sister and I, we're very close. That's why I was able to tell her that, you know what, this and this happened to me when I was young, and I didn't want to tell anyone because I didn't know how to tell people. And you know, she's a prayer warrior. You have to share. So yes, so as far as that is concerned, as much as I have her, I know that if I need to talk about anything, she'll always be there for me. She'll always be that person who can speak to me, and I can say to her, look, I'm telling you this in confidence.
Yes.
Please do not go around telling other people. And she's not gonna speak to anyone about it. Not even her husband. I promise you that. Do you understand? So yes. So I know that I have that person in my life. But then again, still that thing, this person has her own family. Now her stressing about me. It kills you. You don't want to bombard people with your problems
too much.
Do you understand? You don't want to do that. Hence, I say that if it's a support group, it's better. If it's a support group, it's better because people are going through those problems. Like, what am I bombarding you with?
But a support group does have a psychologist involved.
They do have one involved. But at least, like, you know, in a support group, Michelle, if maybe let's say it's us, let's take maybe the alcohol drinking one. Those, you're not gonna get judged because they've also been through that. But when you're with the psychologist, you see this person is wearing formal, they have their notebook, they're taking notes, and you are at your lowest point at that time.
Sure.
So, but now when I'm speaking to someone who knows exactly what I've been through, and that person can somehow relate to, and they can say to me, you know what, last week something similar happened to me, and you know what I did? I did 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Maybe you should try it as well.
That makes sense. I've never thought about it like that. But let's talk about what happens when, like, as a family, we want to talk to you, we want you to open up, and you won't. How do we support? How do we step up? Because that process, like, do we wait until somebody's ready to talk, or do we intervene?
You know what? As far as that is concerned, a person can only talk when they're ready. Because even in terms of psychology and what's not, Mish, I'll tell you this. I can go to a therapist right now. They can say, go see a psychologist, and go there. And the psychologist will ask me, so what's wrong? And I say, I can't sleep at night. I'm having nightmares. And I'm lying. I'm not having nightmares. I know deep down
what's the problem.
Look, that person is not going to say, I know you are lying. Do you understand?
It's deeper than that. Sure. That's hectic.
So a person only talks when they're ready and when they're willing to talk. So as far as that is concerned, I always say that, you know what, you must, in terms of wanting to support a person, make them aware that, look, I want to be there for you anytime you need to talk. The very same way that my sister's doing. I don't know where she landed from. This woman, she's like
smart chat.
Exactly. Like I seriously, I don't like, she always, she gives me my space. She just says to me, are you okay? And I'll be like, no, I'm not okay. Do you want to talk about it? No, I don't want to talk about it. Okay, if you want to talk about it, please let me know.
Because sometimes people force you to talk.
Exactly. And then, or sometimes you'd be like, okay, can you pray? Because we're Christians at home. You know that we're Christians. So she'd be like, pray. And I'd be like, no, I don't know what to do. I've tried to pray, but words are not coming out. I can't pray. Because there was one point whereby she said to me, can you pray? And I said, I can't. I don't know what to say. I don't know where to start. But I know that I'm not okay. I know that I don't want to talk about it.
Sure.
But I cannot pray at this present moment. And I was still staying at home and she was in Cosmo City. So she said, okay, I'm coming. And then she came and she said, since you can't pray, close your eyes and I'll just pray with you. I'll pray for you. You don't have to say anything. I'll just pray. And that meant a lot. Like, it meant a lot to me to say, you know what, this person drove all the way to just come and pray for me. Not something that we did over the phone and whatnot. You know, she came, she held my hand and she said, look, we care about you. We don't want to lose you. We don't want you to go through what you went through before. It's fine. We are there for you. And we want to give you your space. We want you to heal in your own way at your own time. But we want you to know that at the very same time, we are not neglecting you. We are giving you your space so that you can be ready to open up. And then when you're ready, then you can come through and talk to us. And we are not going to judge you. But then it's very unfortunate because families are not the same.
Right.
I come from one family where my siblings and I, we fight all the time. But support-wise, yes, you cannot touch us.
It's on 100%.
Look, you cannot touch us. Like, look, if I can call my brother now and say, I need to go to hospital. You know what? Look, they come through for me. That much I know.
Yeah.
As much as I can sweat them and whatnot, and be like, hey, when I you understand?
Yes, yeah.
They understand me. So, but I know that they'll always be there for me.
Yeah, family is family.
Yeah, family is family, no matter what. But then there are other people whereby in their families they don't have that type of support structure.
Right.
That's why it's very difficult, and that's why it's difficult because when you're going through problems, you identify exactly who is the right person to talk to. Do you understand? And you start with the smallest things. So as time goes on, you're like, no, this one I cannot trust. This one, do you understand? Sometimes when you talk to someone, you want to speak to someone and you want that thing to be just between you guys. You don't want it to... I mean, look, I told my sister about me being molested as a child, and it's been over a year since I told her about it. Until today, nobody from my family came to me and said, Ntabi saying, we know that what happened to you and we are very sorry. Or my brothers would be like, who's that? We're going to kill that person. Do you understand? So for the main fact that nobody came to me and told me about that, it means that nobody knows about it. She kept it like that. Because I told her, look, this stays between me and you. It's hard enough for me to speak to you about it, but it's fine. I'll just say it because I need to take it out. The more you talk about things, the more you feel better.
Do you ever want justice to be prevailed over that person?
I did at some point. I was better. And I didn't want justice per se, like the law to take its course. It was not. I wanted him to die. Like, I only wished the worst things for him. Because I was like, how could you take me through this? Right now I could be having problems with my relationships and what's not, and not knowing at the back of my head that it's coming from that experience that I've had. Do you understand? And me being a talkative person, every relationship that I go into, I talk about it. So yes, and sometimes it's much easier to speak to strangers than to speak to family. Because I remember when I got a phone call that my brother passed away. My brother passed away after my dad, a year after my dad passed away. You know, I was okay. I was still in school, but I was okay. And then I was in a taxi going back home. They called me, I was at my friend's place. They said, come back, your brother passed away. You know, in that taxi, because my friend's mother was like, no, are you sure you're gonna be okay? Are you sure you're gonna go? And that time they didn't have a car to transport me. Do you understand this? They didn't have means, because they could have if they did. Do you understand? Don't you wanna stay over for the night? You go. And I said, I know, I'm fine. He was sick, I knew it and all that. Then when I got into that taxi, there was a guy sitting next to me. Big ups to stranger. Yeah, like I cried, and I cried on his shoulder. Like I was just crying. I was crying. And then he just kept on comforting me. Like he didn't even ask me what's going on. What are you going through? Do you understand? I was in my school uniform. He was an old man. He could see that this child is going through something. So he just kept on comforting me, like just rubbing me, and I was like crying up until I got home. I got out of the taxi. He didn't even say anything to me.
Wow.
He never said a word to me. Then I went home.
Sure. And then now going through all of that and finding out your brother is dead, and I think we've chatted a lot more about. This conversation is very long, and we need to actually segment it into chatting about everything. But I think in closing, what's your biggest advice to people that are currently going through a lot right now?
Look, if you're going through a lot, you must find that person that you can trust. And sometimes it's not easy to identify a person that you can trust. Do you understand? There's some things that I can come and speak to you about and not speak to my next friend about. And sometimes there could be someone that you can trust, but you find that that person is judgmental. Do you understand? I could be someone that you can trust. Like I could be someone who keeps a secret. Like not you come to me and you say, I'm going to tell you this, and then please don't tell anyone. Then I'm not telling you, and I'm not gonna tell anyone at all. But then when you come to me and I'm like, I Maralwena, you should have done this and that. You're making me feel worse about myself. Right. Like, why are you doing that? Yeah, why are you doing that? So, do you understand? A person doesn't need to be judgmental. A person needs to understand that you're going through something because of the reason why. If someone comes to me and they're saying they're going through something, Michelle, you don't know the joys that gets filled in my heart, and it's not because that person is going through a lot, but because that person trusts me enough to open up to me. Sure. It's hard to trust the next person.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a person that you know. So what I would say is that if you find that person and you know that this person is not a judgmental person, because judgmental people, we know them, right? They're easy to identify. So you find that person, you can speak to that person. Look, there are government facilities that offer counseling as far as not being able to afford going to a private one goes. Do you understand?
Or is it free?
There are those ones.
Okay.
Yes. You just need to have the knowledge around it. And the more you talk to people, the more you get to know that okay, I've been paying for this all along, Kante. I can get it for free. Because I remember there was one time that I was asking for my friend's little sisters, because I was like, you know what, as much as I want to help you guys, I don't know how I can help them, but I knew that they had to go through counseling, because I knew that counseling helped me in a form of grief in a way that I don't think anybody else could have helped me. It's like moving from one step, like crawling to walking to another. You don't skip that stage. Yes, it doesn't do everything, but it's very essential. Okay, so I called around at work. I was like, the best I could do is to call around. And I called around at work. When I got to work, I googled. I was like looking for government facilities for counseling sessions around Joburg and Soweto and what's not. I called around, and I actually got a few. And I called them and I said, look, I've got my friend passed away, and then she left behind her 3 sisters, and they very little. They're going through things. They need counseling and what's not. They said, look, give us their contact details or tell them to contact us. This is what they do. That there are organizations that do that.
Sure.
And a lot of people do not know that. People think that when you're speaking to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, it's medical aid or you're going to pay a lot of money. It's not that. The government does pop in a way. Do you understand?
Okay.
So, yes. So, that one is a stepping stone.
A big one.
Yeah. So, you can start there. And because once I talk to you about something, trust you me, it's easy for me to talk to the next person about it. The more I talk about it, you see this getting molested as a child thing was not. I kept it in me for so long, and I didn't know what to do with this information. It was just too big for me, and I started talking to people. But I was talking to strangers because I didn't know whether to trust my family, whether to trust my friends about this. So I was talking to strangers, and I realized that the more I talk about it, man, the more I feel this weight lifted off me. And the more I find this forgiving Ntabiseng within me. And I'm like, you know what? It's fine. You didn't kill me. But you know what? As far as this goes, look, I would advise for people to seek counseling, and if they don't know where to go for counseling, they can start by going to clinics and speaking to doctors. Doctors have this kind of knowledge. If you speak to your doctor, I promise you, they will hook you up with someone. There is no way.
Do you still have numbers or names of organizations that you helped your friends' sisters with? Do you have?
Unfortunately, I don't think I do. I think I left them at my previous work because I just left in a rush. I was rushing for the next bus.
Okay, alright, so I think we are going to end this conversation here because it has been very long, but let me know what you guys think about it and if you guys actually possibly want a part 2 of this conversation. But I think it's worth actually getting in depth because I think there's so much more that a lot of people can learn. So if you have enjoyed this video, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and follow Ntabiseng on all her social media platforms. I'm going to put them down here or in the description bar below. And I will see you guys next time. This is my last video for the year. Have yourself an awesome Merry Christmas actually, and a Happy New Year. See you next time. Bye.